Hello, friends. Welcome yet again to I Don't Get It, the Pop Culture Get Off My Lawn cast. This show features the open-minded musings of two early 50s curmudgeons staring at the prospect of entertainment relevance. I'm your co-host, Bill Scurry of America's Easier Enterprises, which is a sous chef specializing in only 4 of the 5 French mother sauces. Because fuck velouté. That's why.
Velouté, I was going to ask, which is the one you leave off? Velouté. I used to know all 5 just for trivia purposes. You have velouté, hollandaise.
I had to look this up, by the way. I yes, it's obscure.
Chipotle. Yeah, Chipotle Southwest, McDonald's secret sauce,
barbecue sauce, McRib.
McRib barbecue sauce.
No, it's a good question.
And Taco Bell hot
have
sauce.
You? I feel like you've used this as a big quiz thing in the past.
I have.
Okay.
I did a game in the early days. I still like this. Is like just name all 5, and each one was 5 things.
It's not obvious.
And one of them was the mother sauces.
It's not obvious. Yeah. So it's
if you know food, if you're a foodie. Maybe,
I mean, look. Okay. The answer is I'm telling you. I'm telling America this. It's velouté. It's bechamel, espagnole, which I've never heard of before. Okay. Tomato and hollandaise. Those are the 5 French mother sauces. But if you ask me, I think that espagnole and velouté and bechamel and hollandaise are like remarkably similar. They're sort of like a roux-based sauce. You know.
They're both creamy, right?
Yeah, hollandaise is vinegary lemon tart, which is why it's put on eggs.
Right.
And bechamel is almost like the cream that they use for lasagna and things like that.
Doesn't bechamel have cheese in it, or am I wrong?
No, it doesn't have cheese. It's cream, but not cheese. It's not a cheesy thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And espagnole, I think, is like a brown gravy. It's like closer to a stock.
That's so racist. Oh my God.
Why is the gravy got to be brown? Yeah. Tomato sauce.
Why is the espagnole brown?
I don't know, man. Anyway,
just assume.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
yeah.
Welcome to Sauce Talk. I am your co-host. My name is Noah Tarnow. I'm founder and senior quizmaster of the Big Quiz Thing, the Trivia Game Show Spectacular. Bill, today's topic, yet another example of how fucking old I am. I had never heard of this person.
But that's entirely probable. Like, this isn't a silo that's just to the left of us.
I had heard the name in the last week. I had heard there was some kerfuffle.
Same as me, yes.
Some to-do about Erica Kirk, whatever, and someone called Druski. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that was about. And then you say, let's talk about this. And I said, I have heard of it, so that makes sense. Druski, apparently one of the hottest influencers, comedians online. I'm gonna get to this, but as just a preview, watching a little of this guy and his talent, I said, oh, this guy should be on SNL. And I'm like, why in God's name would he ever want to be on SNL?
That's a good point. Yes.
He made $16 million last year.
Yeah. I don't know how you
with
found
his
that out.
Fucking little video online make-em-ups.
His little whatnots.
16 million. So I'll say about the SNL thing, but from his point of view, you know, why would he even take Lorne Michaels' call? Well, he should host SNL, actually. That would be, that would be an interesting change of pace for them. Yeah, why have they ever had an influencer on as a host?
I mean, that's a good question. I'm sure Sideways, maybe. I mean, Paris Hilton was on. I mean, she was before.
But that's I mean, like the people now
who are influencers.
Yeah, she wasn't an influencer. She was a starlet.
She was a fame ball. She was famous for being
ball.
famous.
That's a good one.
Famous for
Although
being
I
famous.
remember when she was at the peak of her fame, she appeared and they made a remake of The House of Wax. Do you remember this?
Yes, and she was on the box for sure. Yeah.
She was in it. Yeah. She was kind of a screen queen. I remember the View going, holy shit, she's a great screen queen. Like, she should just do this. She's perfect for the role. So, you know, give her that. I don't know why we're talking about Paris Hilton. Anyway, so we're talking about Druski, folks. Druski, Druski. We're talking about the whole Druski oeuvre, but specifically, you know, what's happening this week with Erica Kirk, the new leader of Turning Point USA, apparently the NAACP of the 21st century, apparently, if you listen to the traitors who run the government right now. So, Bill, what do we need to know about Mr. Druski. Drew to his friends, but Mr. Druski.
You know, me and the boys like to go to the bar and grab a few Druskis, as we like to say. So,
okay. Yeah.
Druski is Drew Desbordes, Desbordes. I don't know how it's pronounced with the silent S's.
Desbordes or something.
Desbordes, yeah. Desbordes. He's born September 12, 1994. To give you an idea of how old he is. He's an American comedian, actor, and influencer. I had no idea about the money, but now that makes sense now that you've said that.
I mean, don't quote me on this, but I read $16 million in one.
I've already quoted you on it. Sorry, it's in the record.
Thank you.
So he is known for his sketch comedy. He's known for a label called Coulda Been Records. He's familiar with collaborations with various musicians in their music videos. He's been seen alongside Jack Harlow, Drake, Lil Yachty, among others. And we are talking about him this week because of, in particular, my guess is, that's a good question. How online are you? Maybe you've seen this, maybe you haven't, but you needed to be like living an online life to know what this is, because it didn't break out of TikTok, Insta, Twitter, that sort of thing. There was an insanely viral video called How Conservative Women in America Act, which was I think fair to say.
Yeah, but that was the recent one. He was huge before that.
I know he was huge, but neither of us heard about him before that.
Right.
Yeah, we'll talk about this, but it's like, this is essentially, we're triangulating on him because of this thing that brought him to our attention, which this is a savage beatdown performed by a black man inside white-faced drag, portraying a character who, even though it's unsaid, looks chillingly like Erica Kirk, who, of course, is the widow of that guy who was shot in the neck. I forget his name. So the thing is, Druski has a multi-year record of characters, sketches, web series. They've garnered him a very healthy living. I had a feeling that when I looked at his recent view counts, I thought I was going to see this thing be like, oh wow, he really blew up big with this. I'm like, no, this guy's been getting 35 million views for a good couple of years now. He's already been big business. However, this is obviously, it broke through a silo, because if we're talking about him, it means that middle-aged white guys have seen this in such a way that he touched the third rail with this. So it's just pretty amazing that he managed to get out of the little box. And, you know, I don't know, we could discuss what happens to his fame after this, but it's a new level of it for sure. And also something he was not before, so much as I understand, he is the target of right-wing vitriol, even though he did plenty of things in the past that could have engendered right-wing vitriol. Because to me, some of his more funny videos were taking pot shots at rednecks and things like that, and shit kickers.
Yes.
So yeah, we talk about that too. So he's been named by Erica Kirk and Trump. He's been name dropped. He's the target of possible lawsuits.
Trump did not mention his name. Trump just said, these comedians are making fun of you. You should sue them.
He didn't know it was.
This is the media. Every headline. Trump has advice for Erica Kirk. Trump speaks out about Erica Kirk. And it was one line among the diarrhea that pours from this idiot's mouth 24 hours a day. There's 0% chance he knows the name Druski. He just heard that some comedian is making fun of Erica Kirk, and people are pissed about it. I'm just saying, that's literally all he knows.
If you're Adam Schiff or Letitia James, that one line is something you got to watch out for. But anyway,
you also gotta, I probably helped Adam Schiff get elected to the Senate.
Yeah. So the thing is that the lawsuits, they won't go anywhere. It's obvious, blah, blah, blah. But it means that, again, we're talking about a man.
Has she actually sued him? I don't believe
No, not yet. Again, that's about 48 hours old anyway, whatever that was. But no, so far as we know, no, Druski has leveled up his career profile. And it's only like, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. It's all in character. Druski has an amazing makeup artist who really helps him transform into other people. Not unlike, I mentioned in my notes a little further down, Sacha Baron Cohen, who kind of like goes into other characters. Peter Sellers did this too. Back in the 60s and 70s, he would like wholesale, by using makeup, almost like become other people. It was a key to unlocking. Eddie Murphy also has my notes too. Eddie Murphy is fantastic.
Wow, yes. Every time there's a black person in whiteface, I think of Eddie Murphy on SNL.
And I know, and you know what? Druski knows it too. Druski saw that. Druski is name checked. This is not in a vacuum. Druski is a smart man who knows what he's doing, and so this is all part of it. So yeah, again, he was big business, but he was making stuff we did not pay attention to. It was not made for us. It was very sort of a very Atlanta, very YouTube centric, very TikTok centric.
Where is he from?
He's from Atlanta environs. He's from Georgia.
Okay.
But I don't know it looks like some of his stuff is actually still shot though. He's still Southern centric. I don't think he became Los Angeles, but I could be wrong about that. I don't know. Yeah. So what? I assumed you went from how conservative women in America act, and then outwards. So what did you think of his phenomenon when you looked at his art?
Well, one thing you didn't mention is he's got a web series called Could Have Been Love, 2 seasons worth, hours and hours and hours. Also, videos of behind the scenes audition footage.
Tens of millions of views.
Right. And it is a parody of dating shows, basically a parody of The Bachelor, where Druski in both seasons is the Bachelor and it's women vying for his affections. And it is a parody. I believe these are all just actresses playing a script. And I watched some of that. It's very interesting and well done, though I'll get to this in a minute. I mean, let me just say, he's very talented. He's extremely talented. I think this guy has got comedy skills that we'll get to the jealousy thing, but that I aspired to and didn't even get close. I thought Could Have Been Love was very interesting and amusing. I had a little trouble parsing the grammar. Like you said, it's very Southern, very Atlanta. Let's just say it's very black, and that's not a world I spend too much time in. Also, I don't watch shows like The Bachelor, so it's just the way it is framed. I'm kind of at sea. That said, it is clearly well done. It's actually really funny. I mean, I'm still finding it funny nonetheless. I think it's too long, but that's, a lot of stuff online is too long. But let's talk more about the little skits, including the conservative women. You mentioned Redneck. He did a video that went viral where he's in whiteface as a total like shit kicker redneck at a NASCAR event, screaming and yelling.
That's amazing.
Yes. Saluting the flag, harassing a black man. Are you lost? What are you doing here?
It was
I really hope they came up
chilling. Yes.
I assume because they didn't fuzz out the guy's face that they came up to him afterwards and like, don't worry, man. Like this is
or it was a plant. He was in on it. He was like one of their production guys.
He kind of didn't look like a plant, but maybe he was. I mean, there was no violence visited upon this guy, but clearly I imagine that most black men have had moments like this at some point in their life, and it is never comfortable. The skits are funny. One of perhaps his greatest comedic skill is the comedy's very well observed. The details, you say it's spot on, the details of what these people act like. Well, let's talk about the conservative women. I mean, it is, again, didn't say Erica Kirk, but she comes out dancing on a stage where there are sparklers and fireworks, just like when Kirk came out at the Turning Point USA thing, shortly after her husband was assassinated, and some people thought it was tacky because, look, people mourn in different ways. I don't want to presume to dictate how someone should mourn after their husband is murdered in public. All right? I can only imagine the trauma. But I'm going to go out there and say she's in a realm that I question her intentions. The fireworks were a little, what's going on here? What are her goals, right? So they're making fun of that, making fun of how she has this kind of eerie stare. I mean, she's a Christian nationalist, millennialist. These people are scary. Regardless of how she's mourning, she is pushing an agenda on people that I find very ripe for humor. So he observes the details very well, and he's got a real knack for physical comedy, which, again, I didn't have. And he's using that to good effect in mocking her, in mocking the redneck. There's a video of him mocking the stereotypical Latina girl eating, Doritos or whatever, and showing her belly with a too short shirt kind of thing. He gets the physical element very well and plays it off his kind of dumpy, round, early 30s, body in a way that's fun and honest. I really like that. That said, some of the details and observation are good. The actual comedy itself, I think, is kind of a term we use a lot on the show, first pass comedy. I think he should probably work a little harder to come up with actual jokes here. He does one where he's a mega church pastor, and he just keeps repeating the same ideas over and over again. It's funny, but it's not particularly clever. There's no depth to the humor. The targets are a little obvious. That's what leads me to say this guy would do well on something like SNL when he has good script writers where he could put his talent for observation, his talent for mimicry, his talent for physical comedy to good use. But of course, why would he want to be on SNL? Because he has just as much more fame and more money not being on SNL. I find that this work, putting aside Could Have Been Love, but the conservative women, the redneck, the Latino woman, the megachurch pastor, I find that these things work better for me if you regard them less as comedy and more as performance arts. He is making a statement in a kind of oblique way rather than the traditional form of I'm going to make you laugh out loud. And viewed in that lens, I like it more. I agree with the message. I think the subtlety works. Subtlety. It's not subtle. The lack of laugh out loud thing. The oblique is the word that comes to me. You're not hitting it straight between the eyes. You're kind of encircling the idea. There's no punchline, and punchline's called a punchline because it's got a punch in it. It hits you in the face, right? My favorite comedians really nailed you with a line. Rodney Dangerfield, George Carlin. He doesn't do that. It is more roundabout way of arriving at the target via humor. So if you regard Druski as a performance artist, I think he is quite effective and quite entertaining. Another aspect I want to talk about, specifically the Erica Kirk thing. I think people are making too big a deal out of it. Look, this is the religion of the right wing right now is grievance. So, the slightest insult and they're going to go crazy because they're the most hypersensitive people on earth. Like I said before, the traitor, the orange traitor, barely said a word about it, and it's constant headlines. And I don't like that because that just feeds this machine of listen to every word that this demented asshole says. Whatever. She was made fun of. She's a public figure. Public figures are made fun of. It's why is this a reason for mainstream news coverage and endless discussions about whiteface? Is whiteface racist? It's not I don't know.
It's not racist. It's not fucking racist.
It depends on what you mean by racist. I don't think it's racist. It's racial. It's a racial conversation. It's mocking a race. But, the question is does it cross a line that's offensive? I don't find it offensive because it's punching up. It's not punching down. And one last thing, one element you didn't mention that has been part of these news stories about his making fun of Erica Kirk is someone fed the video into Grok. You heard about this?
I did not hear this.
So Grok, I guess that's the Twitter Elon Musk AI machine, and Grok identified Druski in whiteface drag as Erica Kirk. It could not tell the difference between real Erica Kirk and Druski Erica Kirk, which yet another example of why I think AI is bad, because, it can't grasp very obvious satire is above the realm of AI. So if we outsource everything to AI right now, satire will get blended into everything else. We will lose the power of satire. We will also fall further down the hill of people believing bullshit is fact.
Yeah, I neither tick nor talk like you. And so I am outside of the silo, and that's fine. I realize that, we're going to have a long podcasting career finding shit that once it breaks out of the silo and into our purview. This is how we get to the skibbities, toilets, and things of this nature. So here's
toilet
the thing,
skibbities, yes.
Toilet skibbities. So the first time I saw footage of Eric first time I saw footage of Druski.
Yeah, you're Grok. You can't tell the difference.
I am. No, it's true. No, the thing is, I was seeing small GIFs, clips. Oh, and I saw just freeze frames. People took static images and were putting them on Blue Sky and Twitter and Insta. I thought it was AI slop. I thought that people were synthesizing horrific images of Erica Kirk, like face tuning into again the cheek muscles and the sort of bone structure is so absurd. It looks like Max Headroom almost. There's something very plasticine about it. I thought it was.
You mean her herself or Druski?
No. I thought Druski was not.
Oh yeah, it's definitely eerie. There's an uncanny valley effect for sure.
Yeah, and it's I was actually shocked to learn that what I was seeing was a man in makeup effects. And not only makeup effects, but decent ones at that. Because Druski never says the name in the short video. It's obvious that he's styled in right-wing Barbie aesthetic. It's David Goor in that fucking camp over there. You know, he uses, they said, the sparkler flame boxes, which is, what is it? It's either between John Cena or Erica Kirk. Like, that's who comes out for those things. Cena and like Dave Bautista would come out to that. That was like the walkout music was those fucking.
Yeah, sure. That was half the wrestlers in the early 2000s.
You know,
sparklers like that.
I love the uncoordinated, sort of self-conscious dancing, the ugly business casual, the sort of boxy business casual. You know, the sort of either pink or fuchsia or some other vaguely feminine color as whatever Lerner and Lowe, New York and Company is telling you to buy. It's I think that there's a lot of a storytelling economy, and it's a lot of takedown inside of it. And yeah, you know what? I will agree with you in that it doesn't strike me as less funny because there's no punchlines, but it is a political act. I think it's an inherently political act.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Sure.
So and you know, the whiteface thing activating the racists, I get that. It's like, fuck it, man. Fuck all that shit.
But they're looking for any excuse to claim grievance. Anything.
Right. That's why it doesn't matter. And you know, the thing is, whiteface is up punching, and that's what Druski's doing. And he says so himself. He said, you know, I listened to it. He was on CBS Morning Show with Gayle King and the rest of these people. That's something I don't watch. And he's there talking very eloquently about what he set out to do. Itemizing was bound up in his comedy. It's like exactly what I love to hear, you know? Look, and watching other videos in character, I think he crushes. I think that I bring up Peter Sellers, I bring up Sacha Baron Cohen, because I mean, he's not quite there yet. Maybe, I mean, I just haven't seen as much of it, but you know, the stuff that's there proves that he's sharp as a tack, funny as fuck, gets into character. The redneck guy at the NASCAR thing, man, the makeup and costuming, like he looked like Hillbilly Jim from the WWF in the 80s. He's wearing off the shoulder bib overalls. He is painted white, not just the skin.
It's
color.
not just white face; it's white chest.
It's white. No, and
he's got an exposed chest.
And not only that, like they paint in the redneck sunburn of the halter top sunburn, where his chest is tatted up with man titties and everything, and his arms are sunburned, and there's a clear delineation for the sun where the halter top is. With the sunburn and the white flesh, it's so well observed. It's so funny. It's so much skill, and he hides himself inside that character. You can't tell that it's a dude from like somewhere in Metro Atlanta, because he's bearded up and he's wearing like a cowboy hat, and he's like yeehawing with the rest of them. He's got the voice down, and he dissolves like steam into a crowd of rednecks with no difficulty whatsoever.
We have to protect all men in America. Especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country.
So why is Druski finally at a point that we've heard of him?
Well, look, after months and months of preening by Erica Kirk is looped in and is stand-in for all the enemies of decency that are running America right now. The Christian junta that are. You know, we've been told that she's off limits. You know, people were fired for not mourning properly, or you know, for saying something that just essentially quoted her dead husband.
But comedy is back. Sorry, snowflakes. Yeah. Now that Elon Musk has X, comedy is back, and we hate cancel culture.
Right, and it's like if it's taking a shot at Erica Kirk in particular, but for what this means at this time, the fact that we're in April of 2026 and we're dealing with the war and all this shit that and the Strait of Hormuz and everything else that is just, you know, a snowball. It's like, it is a good facet of this thing to strike. It's like it's right for parody, and it's the right way to do it. It's a torpedo right in the business. It's as much as it is about her. Mm-hmm. She is the aspect we're going to strike to hit the whole fucking battleship. And hope we want to sink the Bismarck, and we got to put a hole in the side first. It feels correct. It feels correct that it comes from a burly black man, deep in character from the South, right? It seems completely like what an avatar to do this. Of all the people, this is not I was gonna say the guy from Chicago, the governor, no, the guy from Illinois, J.B. Pritzker is a trillionaire, a child of privilege. He too is a big burly man, and he doesn't seem like, even though he says all the right things, he doesn't seem like the best spokesman for the movement right now, because not that he's compromised morally, but just he's not the mold of we want in terms of a cultural leader. Not trying to take anything away from the guy. He just doesn't look the part. I think that having this, like I said, for me, I am very happy. I worship. No, it isn't. I welcome our insect overlords. This a black man from the South who this stuff hurts. This stuff wounds. He hears with a different sensitivity than I do. Right. It's appropriate and warranted that it comes to him. It's like, who better to take this farcical right-wing creation down? And I'm not taking his creation. I'm saying the farcical right-wing creation of Erica Kirk and the whole thing that has been, this ball of wax around her. Like, who is better than this dude from Georgia to take that down? That's why it escaped. I mean, I could say that, like, he already had a sensation. He already found a fan base. The question is, why are we talking about it today? It's like, because he fucking pressed a button that was like, like a tooth, with a nerve exposing a tooth that just shot pain up, or it was a chill down our spine. This is what it took to kind of get us to pay attention to him. And I'm glad it did. I wanted to see this, and I felt like, yes, I was nodding at my computer, watching us for like the third time on playback the other day.
I agree. He's very talented and very well observed, as I said. I said I had a little trouble parsing it, understanding the grammar. This is going to make me sound extremely white. He speaks the language of the street. Do you remember after Obama was elected, and for the first time, and the Republicans were licking their wounds and briefly like saying, all right, we've lost, we're going to come to the table. And then Mitch McConnell did his thing. And Michael Steele, who was then the head of the RNC or something, was mocked because he went on TV and he said, Republicans need to speak to, and the quote was something like, those urban, suburban, hip-hop environments. And while that's a silly phrase, I know exactly what he meant. And this is the world, like you said, Southern black man. This is the world Druski's in. It's the world millions of Americans are in. It's the world you and I are basically not in. But he is fluent in that world and appealing to that world. So, if you strike a nerve there, you've found a very powerful mother lode, so to speak, to mix metaphors. And yes, as you say, Erica Kirk being ripe for parody. Again, I don't like questioning how people mourn, especially in something that no one should ever have to deal with. I don't think Charlie Kirk was a good person, but he did not deserve that. His wife does not deserve that. His children do not deserve that, what happened to him. But I am still dubious of her. She is over the top performative, as I interpret it. Those eyes are scary. That whole world around her in which she has become influential and seems to welcome that influence. I don't want to just say dubious of, I detest.
I'm terrified of it. Exactly.
Well, they're traitors. They're undermining our country. They hate Americans. Fuck them. It's the reason I volunteer my time to stop them. So, I'm sorry to judge her. Honestly, I don't know that much about her, but I know her agenda. She has proved her agenda at this point, and I'm comfortable judging that. Druski is showing how easy it is to mock that agenda, just like the redneck. And the reaction is kind of showing how it needs to be mocked.
Hey, you lost, boy?
No, I'm going to the race.
What race?
NASCAR race.
You going to NASCAR?
That's it. A little bit.
You ain't lost, did you?
No, would you have liked this as a kid?
Oh, sure. I mean, as I say, I like it now. I might even have loved this guy as a kid because I still don't think me young now would be into quote unquote black humor, but I definitely understand it more because I would have grown up in a pop culture that is more dominated by, African-American culture. As much as there was plenty of it when we were kids, of course, It just keeps gaining influence. All the more reason why there is the Erica Kirk ecosystem, because it's the backlash. It's the backlash. You know, we don't want taco trucks in every corner. As brown people take over aspects of culture, they get offended. They get proprietary over, they think America should be theirs. Same reason they were upset that Bad Bunny did the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl is their thing. And how dare a brown person take over it? So I think if I were a young person today, a liberal young person, which I would certainly be, an urban young person, which I would probably be, I would have more familiarity with that world, because that world would have a lot more clout. I'd understand it better. You know, things like Could Have Been Love and The Bachelor. So, yeah, I think it's possible I would really, really love this guy if I were a young man now.
I'm always curious of the connections between Druski's comedy and the image of Erica Kirk, how I would feel about that. I don't know. It's easy to be activated by Erica Kirk now as an old man. Would I be so plugged into that kind of Hammer image to her of what she's getting? You know, like, I'm happy to see this person in particular taken down. Or if I would have just felt like the actual work that Druski's doing as a funny person would have meant more to me, simply as a comedy qua comedy thing. I think I would have been a fan of Druski's character work more than anything else, because he does fit into that long lineage of Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence. Those are just two people he name checks, but it's totally appropriate. Kind of versatile, funny.
Really,
man.
Martin Lawrence?
Yeah, Martin Lawrence. Very.
You think Martin Lawrence? I think Martin Lawrence sucks.
Okay.
You like Martin Lawrence?
I appreciate Martin Lawrence. He's uneven, but I think he certainly has his moments. He's a very funny man. I just don't like everything he's done, for sure.
I watched his show once and thought it was terrible. I thought he was terrible on SNL. Granted, I don't know that much about him. And then he did that Big Mama's House. Like, he was like the 12th black comedian to do a movie in which he dressed up as a fat black woman, and like that was the joke. Like, I don't know. He just seems really like you know,
he was
aftermarket version of every other black comedian who was popular.
He was
in the
on
90s.
autopilot for a while, and you know what? Tracy Morgan's character on 30 Rock was directly lampooning him.
Really?
For just exactly how lazy he was along the way.
Okay, so maybe, because Tracy Morgan is fucking hilarious.
The thing is, though, is that, you know, like there's the lineage of versatile funny men who used voices and costumes to create hyperbolic comments on our times. And, you know, the thing is, having seen White Like Me, like that was electrifying. It's like,
if you've never seen that, folks, Google SNL Eddie Murphy White Like Me.
Especially like
Brilliant.
in the moment it came out, the fact that it concretized Eddie Murphy's power, as if the stand-up specials didn't already do that. Yeah. As if Raw and Delirious weren't like a 1-2 hit of these things, but his work on SNL.
Were Raw and Delirious before that?
No, they were after that. They were after that.
Yeah,
but the thing is, but again, seeing that, like, Eddie Murphy was, again, just doing something that looked so not forbidden necessarily, but it was electrifying to see him doing this. It seemed like you are the man we've deputized to take care of doing the whiteface thing and pull it off in a way that's funny. And it's like, I dare you to not like this. And again, I'm sure people didn't like it, but I think it was...
if it happened now, it would get Fox News reports of SNL as racist.
You know what? It was advanced. I guess, what was it, 83, 84 back like in SNL?
I'm guessing even earlier. I was actually already taping SNL in those days and watching it. I remember that. I remember Buckwheat getting shot. I mean, those were big moments. I was so fucking young, but somehow I'd still watch it.
All that stuff. Yeah, it's like, but the thing is that his work, that was so avant-garde for the time. And again, he also had great writers like Jim Downey working for him, and you know, people who were like old school comedy writers. And Druski,
White Like Me was 1984.
84. Okay. Yeah. So the thing is, I think that the overall picture, I would have identified Druski as being funny. Maybe more so than having a real hatred of the topic he's taking a shot at, where I feel like the politics would have landed with me, but I would have been more interested in maybe the image, maybe just how funny it was rather than what it meant, perhaps.
The greatest country on earth, freedom.
And they can't take that away, and I'm proud to be in America.
Damn right. And you, I've been damned you take that star off your shirt and don't represent this country. You need to bring home the troops, goddammit.
Is there any way in which the rise of Druski, or perhaps the backlash to Druski, is a sign of the apocalypse?
No, absolutely not. No, there was never a moment. I mean, this is just clear as day to say now. There's never a moment where punching up comedy that punches up, I should say, is not an antidote to this type of fuckery. And I'm not exactly gleeful at how effective comedy is going to be, but at least there is this. At least there's a fucking steam valve where we just don't have to like listen to empty suits and idiots at prayer circles, and a fucking alcoholic cabinet member gets on TV and just lambasts the press and taunts war crimes, and it's like, at least let me laugh.
Asshole.
At least let me laugh at something. It's like the screws are being tightened by white Christian nationalists to fucking send black people and women back into the dirt. That's unequivocally. That's what's happening right now, and it's like
You forgot gays, and when they're done with them, everyone else who's on the left.
How about gay trans black women? Let's just make one
gay trans black women who vote Democratic. Yeah.
This is the time. No, this is the time for a comedy gladiator to arise, and I'm not sure.
Let's not make too big a deal out of this guy. Come on.
I like it. No, but it's like at least maybe he's not a comedy gladiator, but he's doing a fight right now. I laughed at it this week. I'll take it. That's what I'm looking for. Right. No apocalypse.
Exactly. No, I agree with you. Except the fact that I watch a lot of these videos and they go over my head reminds me that we're very balkanized in this country, and I think that explains a lot of our problems. I mean, honestly, I'm no joke. I think cable TV and then the internet, where we all have this problem that something is huge in one community and the next person's never heard of them. We have no monoculture. We talk about this on the show all the time. Is a problem, and this is reminding me of that. The two sides not speaking to each other, although it's way more than two sides. And then look, yes, we need comedy gladiators. We need gladiators for fucking sure. But fascism is thick-skinned. It's part of the nature of fascism, right? Druski is poking the bear, which could lead to a dangerous backlash, right? Now it's the traitor saying you should sue him. Tomorrow it's he's arrested and thrown in a gulag. Now, when a rat is cornered, it does terrible things. Now, we should do it anyway because fuck them. We should fight anyway. We should go down swinging. But, I see reactions like this. I do get worried that it's accelerating the terrible process. And look, we have to do it. We have to.
I never go and punch down in anything that I do. Nothing is coming from a bad place. And I think a lot of my fans appreciate that because everything I do kind of comes from a good place, a good-hearted situation, even if it does seem that I crossed the line or that something went too far.
Noah, I think we're ready to close this thing out with our final two segments. Tell me about jealousy. I know that each of us feels some pang of it for different reasons, but how does this wake up an uncomfortable feeling?
I am so fucking jealous of this guy. His physical comedy skills, his satirical eye. I thought I had a piece of that when I was doing improv in college. And I'm trying to do comedy after college, but I did not. This reminded me of something I probably never told you about. In my 20s, when I was taking improv classes and doing stand-up, and I still thought maybe someday I'll get on SNL, I started thinking about the impressions I can do. And I started working on an impression of Conan O'Brien, right? Which I'd never seen anyone do. And I played with it a little, and the only person I ever showed it to was our buddy Aaron Grunfeld. And he just looked at me like, yeah, that sucks. And I realized it did. Any physical comedy or satirical I thought I had, it just was not even close to what it needs to be. And Druski has that. So I'm jealous of that. And of course, like many quote unquote influencers or whatever they are, he just started making videos online and they caught on and they went viral. And because he's talented, right? He took the reins in a way I tried, but just didn't have the skills to. I started doing my own character. I started doing my own shows, but they just weren't good enough. He started doing his characters. He started doing his shows, but his shows were in a format that was better suited to the time. His characters were more relatable than my characters were. His talent was more than mine. So he not only is more talented than me, but he's smarter and craftier than I was when I was trying to make it in that world. So fuck yeah, I'm jealous.
This is a big man, though, as we said. He's got loose limbs. He's got an expressive voice, capable of many character shifts. And he's got the boldness, like I said, like Sacha Baron Cohen, the kind of thing that allows him to improvise in character within what could be hairy.
A fearlessness. Yeah, I didn't have that. I mean, he's got that. Sacha Baron Cohen definitely has.
Yeah, so like he gets into situations that could be hairy. The idea that if they realized that he was making fun of the NASCAR crowd while he's there, that this was a black man with that makeup, It could have went sideways. What do I know? It looked pretty daring to me. I'll give him credit. It looks like he really waded into it. That's intrepid energy. Not that I want to be a comedian, but if I did, that's the kind of intrepid energy I'd want. But it's also, like you said, he's in his early 30s. I'm sure a lot of the art he made when he was in his 20s. He dropped out of college, like a million other people. Yes. It wasn't for him, and he decided, well, I'm gonna find another way to do this, And it's like he probably worked on a lot of mediocre stuff after a while, and he worked his way up to this, And he's been at it for a couple of years now, where he's got a voice. That's a lot of good self-determination, and he was living with his mom in a very low rent situation for a while. Probably scratching to make ends meet, and it paid off. That's pointing the bat at the left field wall and like sending a home run over the wall. That's a big deal. And so finally, where would you rank this, Noah, on our scale?
Yeah, this is pretty simple. I'm gonna compare it to a few things that haven't come up in this conversation, surprisingly. So I was thinking of someone else or other people who made online videos, and remember Smosh?
Yes, Smosh, whatever that
Smosh,
is. Yes.
Smosh sucked. Its satire was limp and hackneyed, and their talent was minimal. And it was
YouTube bullshit. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
It was not the most first pass comedy thing we've looked at. It's probably number 2 to My Brother and Me, but it was terrible. So in some respect, this is the anti-Smosh. So Smosh times -1. Plus, who I thought of at first was Sarah Cooper, right?
Yeah.
Speaking truth to power.
I guess she's still out there, yeah.
Cooper had a different, when she would do those Trump videos, had a different approach entirely, but it's within the same realm. And frankly, I'm surprised that we didn't get a bigger backlash to her, mocking, their God and Lord and Savior. So Smosh times -1 plus 1/10 of Sarah Cooper plus, to insert the off-the-hook urban suburban feel, 1/8 of Jesus and Mero. Remember them?
Yeah, Jesus and Mero. In fact, yeah,
I like them, but they spoke a language that kind of went over my head.
Yeah, in fact, one of the things I listened to, Hot 97, Mero was talking about him, and he was right in his wheelhouse. Mero was a sign on for this guy. Yeah, I'm going to bring up two things too. Topics we didn't bring up, but in terms of satire, and it's funny. Also, two things we haven't really talked about a whole lot over the course of the show. It's somewhere, Noah, between, on the low end, to me it was more the low end, was Fred Sassy, speaking of making fun.
Oh, God, I forgot about him.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pointed that was a pandemic era satire. Like, that's what, 3 or 4 years old at this point?
Yeah.
And that was not the greatest thing in the world. It looked like that was because you had face tuning or face swapping, and it wasn't the greatest thing. So the thing is, it's like, that was what is it? Matt and Trey taken down, a comedy neologism, using a comedy neologism to essentially take down a right-wing goblin, which resembles some of this stuff. And I think Fred Sassy's more or less forgotten today. Talk about a real bookmark in the history of pandemic era comedy. But then I think about another guy who has great observations of life in his own generation, but his comedy was very well developed, was Bo Burnham. So I think that if you sort of have a pendulum that sort of swings between these 2 points, I think you're going to get somewhere in the middle is Druski, where he tends to rest. I think he's going to be more successful than Fred Sassy, where it just won't be relegated to the dust heap of dead projects. But the question is, will you get to sort of Bo Burnham's delicacy, where there really is kind of like there's something about the way Bo Burnham was able to encapsulate what it was like to be that age at the time. I don't know where I don't know if he's retired, taking a break. Bo Burnham too has kind of like gone away. I don't really see his.
Hasn't he been in a couple movies?
Maybe so, but he's not doing the things he was known for. The song parodies, the hour-long YouTube specials. Like, I have not seen him exercise his craft, and I kind of wonder. I thought he had all upside, but he seems to have taken a break. I think he might have hit a wall a bit, but I don't know. I'm talking at my ass here.
All right, that's it. I got to go to synagogue, Bill.
Yes, you do got to go to synagogue. It's true.
No joke. I really gotta go watch a live feed of my niece reading Torah. So.
All right, so everybody, find past episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Soundcloud, GooglePlay. Skeet to us at noandbillshow.bsky.social. Write to us, noandbilldon'tgetit@gmail.com. I'm on social media at billscurry.bsky.social, at William Scurry on Twitter and Instagram, and YouTube got Slom /AM Caesars. Everybody knows URLs. youtube.com/amcaesar, where you'll find my video. And also, I will advise you to look out for Atomic Abe on YouTube. I published a few days ago. They published my my favorite episode of the 18 video, which has been. Right. I'm very happy that the receipts have been very good so far. The notices have been positive. Noah, where can people find you as you're on your way out the door?
The Big Quiz Thing, bigquizthing.com, America's premier provider of corporate and private live trivia events. That is my thing, folks. I'm the founder and the senior quizmaster, but we have the nation's finest quizmasters all over the country. Gearing up for a busy spring, but there's always room for your team building event, your private party, your fundraiser, you name it. Get a custom proposal and maybe even a live demo on Zoom starring me. No obligation. So go to bigquizthing.com and get in touch today. And you can personally follow me from time to time on Instagram at the Noah Tarnow.
All right, everybody. So until the next episode, where we talk about a whiteface impersonation of James T. Kirk, we don't get it.
A production of American Caesar Enterprises 2026.